Season 12 is on the horizon, and with it comes so much fresh content from weapons to even a new curse and more. But along with it comes some concerning additions to naval combat that may bring an end to solo slooping as we know it. For pirates that are familiar with solo slooping are aware of the hardships. Solo slooping isn't easy. It requires a lot of skill and know-how. You need to be experienced just to survive most player interactions. When I was new, I avoided PvP, so my experience was bad. I spent a lot of time running from players, and if they caught up to me, there wasn't much I can do, especially if they board my ship. I improved a lot since then thanks to Season 8, and I win more fights now than losing. I'm not the best, but I would say I'm mid at least. But that doesn't mean it's still not difficult. Brigs and galleons can be intimidating. I only fight them when I know they're amateurs. I'm not confident enough to take on competent crews. I avoid them. But if I see a galleon that's anchored with their sails down, then okay. At least I know I have it easy and I already won, just by looking at them. Hourglass combat isn't easy either. Once your mask goes down, there is an 80% chance you will not recover. Without skill and experience, you won't last long at all. You gotta master close combat, naval, and naval combat. You won't be in a cruise, so you're the helmsman, repairer, cook. Basically, you're the entire ship. In the heat of combat, repair, steering, and fighting is hard to manage. There's enough to worry about, and then Season 12 drops with a lot of things that's going to prove to be every solo slooper's worst nightmare. There is a new throwable and ship weapon, the Bone Collar and Scattershot. While the Bone Collar will be useful for PvE, like the Ashen Lord or Skeleton Fort, but in naval combat is where the problem with this new throwable lies. You can fire it out your cannon and spawn skeletons on the enemy ship. While that sounds very helpful when against larger ships and crews, it possesses a problem for solo sloopers. Since you manage the entire ship, the last thing you need is a distraction while a ship is firing at you. Mast is down and gotta bail and repair or fire the cannon to try and just fire back and hope for a dark hit so you can kill them and get time to repair and maybe even sink them. But you can't do that with skeletons constantly harassing you. I doubt they'll be any stronger than normal skellies, so they may die in 3 hits, but if not, then that's a big problem. And I'm also not sure if you're allowed to spam, like maybe there was a limit, like 6, so you can throw 2, but we have no idea, there's not enough details. Even then, they're still distracting you, and if they get lucky and kill you, your ship is doomed. In Hourglass, you can't afford distractions, and you don't get a lot of renown for losing. Where's the reputation? Anyway, the enemy ship could just spam these. Oh, you killed all the skeletons? Just launch another, and then keep firing cannonballs. But the biggest issue lies in the new Scattershot. While the holes they make are small, they can be spammed. I can see it becoming an annoying meta in Hourglass, circling your ship and firing scattershot after scattershot, not only putting constant holes in your ship, but they waste your wood. If that's not bad enough, they can damage players. Don't believe me? If you listen closely to the clip where they are shooting scattershots at a galleon, you can actually hear the sound of a player dying when the shots make contact.
Which means you'll have to get up, get up, get up, get up!
They don't really have the GUI on, so you can't see a red X, but you can actually hear the noise. So don't tell me that you can't kill players with these. Solo Hourglass is going to be a lot harder than it already was, especially if there's a skill gap. Scattershots will end up being used to guarantee a direct hit. Why use one cannonball at a time when they could just spam tiny ones and kill the player no matter where he is, instead of missing shots with one cannonball? If that's their goal, all they have to do is just shoot a bunch and it will eventually hit you, or at least drain your health till you die. So it will cover more of a radius. It'll cover more ground on the ship. Players will do anything to score an easier kill online. In multiplayer, everyone is competitive and all about winning instead of having fun, so if it makes it easier, they will use it. I mean, do you have any idea how hard people try, especially in Hourglass? all they do is use a double gun meta. Because it's just hit him once with the Eye of Reach, and then quickly just shoot a random shot from the blunderbuss, and there you go, free kill, you already won in just a couple seconds. And honestly, I still think they should patch the Eye of Reach, but that is not the subject of this video. Then there's the issue with the throwing knives, a new weapon they'll be adding in the upcoming season. You can do close range attacks other than throwing it. You can do a heavy stab attack that'll apparently instant kill players if you sneak up and stab them in the back with it. Basically making them the spy from Team Fortress 2.
I'm not going to stab you. I'm not going to stab you. Ha! I stabbed you.
Imagine if someone silent boards and you're just on that helm and then BAM! Instantly dead. Repairing holes and didn't know someone got on the ship? Sneak up and stab you while repairing. You leave your ship vulnerable to being anchored and sunk. Another thing I'm sure Tuckers will especially use, hiding in corners, and once you're distracted, they'll go in for the kill, which will be very annoying. So again, another thing to worry about as a solar slooper especially. Then there's the Horn of Fair Winds. I have no doubt this will be sought after by many people. Mainly for making trips faster, because the wind is RNG, so you won't always have wind in your sails, so they'll at least make trips faster. But if you're trying to run away because you got loot you worked hard to get, and don't want to risk losing after spending hours and hours on it, and they have this way they can easily catch up to you, and then use the harpoon edition they have in the game. They will harpoon your ship and climb over, which is a feature they're going to be adding in Season 12. I'm sure damage will make them fall off, but it's something they can do, and especially since the brig and galleon is faster than the sloop, they can easily catch up to you when you're trying to run away. You can't just go in directly into the wind so you can be faster than them, because the sloop is faster than a galleon when it's against the wind. But they can just get out the Horn of Fair Winds and catch up to you no matter what. And so there's just basically no escape. I'm really concerned about this. These new items will put a lot of solar sloopers like myself at a huge disadvantage and will no doubt be used a lot. I know you gotta find them and they're not something you can purchase, but it'll be something players will make sure to have a lot of before doing PvP. It won't be very common, but something to worry about. I don't know how this is going to be balanced. I just hope the Scattershot and the Bone Collar will be really rare. I'm sure it'll be like chain shots and you'll eventually find them in a barrel or two, but I'm just worried about their spawn rate and balancing, because they already sound difficult to deal with, and if it's common, we're gonna have a real problem. I can see these being common in Hourglass. I just really hope Rare does not mess this up. Please, Rare, please don't mess this up. Make it balanced. Being a solo slooper is more as difficult as it is more difficult with all this stuff he added. I mean, just slooping is just the hardcore mode of the game, and they're adding this shit and it's making things more difficult. The harpoon people can use to pull your ship closer, and now they can actually just climb across the rope. They can just jump up, anchor you, and you're screwed. And then they'll just throw down bone collars and make skeletons attack you and just deal more damage and more distractions. Then there's Scattershot with more holes. It's just, how are they going to balance this? I'm honestly afraid of what's going to happen to Hourglass, because even though I have my Ghost Curse and I'm not that interested in Hourglass anymore, I won't mind doing it now and then to work on my skills and eventually work up to 1,000, because getting the Gold Curse will be nice. And I'm concerned that it's going to get more overly complicated and it's just going to be abused. So please, Rare, please think this through and have it balanced, please. But anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments and let's have a discussion about it. But anyway, I'll see you guys on the series.